What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today we're doing something a little bit different, as I wanted to make this video for a very long time, talking about Stewart-Haas Racing's 2021 struggles. So far, Stewart-Haas Racing in 2021 has absolutely struggled up to this point. No one at that team has currently been able to win up to this point, and none of the drivers have shown winning speed. When you look at the top dogs who are generally up in the front and the top teams every single year, and the teams that have won the championship since the year 2005, they have been Stewart-Haas Racing, Joe Gibbs Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, and Team Penske. Those are the four organizations that have been able to, besides Furniture Row Racing in 2017, but they had association with Joe Gibbs Racing. So teams associated with those organizations or those organizations themselves have won the championships. Now, so far, Hendrick Motorsports has won 2 races. Team Penske's won 2 races so far, and Joe Gibbs Racing has won 2 races. The one team I did not mention, Stewart-Haas Racing, has struggled so far this year. And not only am I worried about Stewart-Haas Racing for this year, because so far, like I said, they've struggled, but I'm worried about the long-term future for Stewart-Haas Racing as well. Let's go through the statistics of the 4 drivers that are currently at Stewart-Haas Racing, and then let's go through the 2 drivers right now that are in the development program that could eventually go over there. Let's start off with Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is the one driver that at least has shown some sort of speed at Stewart-Haas Racing. Kevin Harvick currently sits 8th in the standings right now. He has 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, has a 9.4 average finish, and has only led 17 laps this year. Keep this in mind, those 17 laps that he's led this year in 2021 were at the Daytona 500. Ever since then, Kevin Harvick has not been a contender for wins and has really not been up front in many of the races. Bad luck has definitely affected him. At Atlanta Motor Speedway, he was in the top 540 flat tire, but he's able to rebound back to top 10. So Kevin Harvick at least has had speed this year, but he has really been the only driver that has shown some sort of speed. Then you have to scroll back through all the rest of the rankings in the championship, and Cole Custer is the second driver at Stewart-Haas Racing. He is 23rd in the points right now, so he's outside the top 20. Cole Custer so far in 2021 has 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, has only led 1 lap. I think that was at Las Vegas. I could be wrong, but I think he led at Las Vegas, and he has a 20.7 place average finish. Now, I will give a little bit of benefit doubt to Cole Custer. It is a second year, and there hasn't been practice qualifying, but at some point, you got to start performing a lot, and I know, like I said, it's only the second year in the Cup Series, but sooner or later, you got to step it up to play. Remember, last year, Cole Custer won a race in 2020 at Kentucky in a very, very impressive pass to win the race. So Cole Custer really has not been impressive up to this point. He is the second driver. The third driver currently at Stewart-Haas Racing is Chase Briscoe, the rookie, who is 27th in the points. He has 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, and has a 26.6 place average finish. I think currently he only has 3 top 20s right now, but I could honestly be wrong with that. I might be getting my 6 wrong. But I think his best finish so far this year has been either 17th or 18th. So he has really not been up to the front. Now, keep this in mind about Chase Briscoe. A lot of us thought that Chase Briscoe was going to come into the Cup Series and be really, really dominant after how dominant he was in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, him and Austin Center. But you also have to remember 2019, before the 3 we'll talk about in a second, moved up the Cup. You had Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, and you had Tyler Reddick racing in the Xfinity Series in 2019. And I think combined, they won something like 22 or 23 of the 33 or 34 Xfinity Series races that year. So that is why they were so dominant. And that year also, yes, Chase Briscoe was absolutely consistent, but Chase Briscoe also only won 1 victory, and that was at Iowa. But like I said, he was very, very consistent. So while I think it's no surprise that he's struggling a little bit, it was going to take us some time without the practice qualifying, I expect a little more from Briscoe, but I will give Briscoe some time. He's only been 7 Cup Series races. The car is different than the Xfinity Series car. I think Briscoe eventually will shine and get through, and I think he'll definitely improve in the points. And the final driver we're going to talk about is Aric Almirola. Aric Almirola has absolutely been the most disappointing driver so far in the 2021 season. Compared to last year, he was so consistent during the summer, and he made the playoffs. Aric Almirola right now is sitting 28th in the standings. I expected him to be a contender for the playoffs. I don't think he's even going to be a contender for the playoffs. Aric Almirola, like I said, is sitting 28th in the standings. He has no top 5s, no top 10s, and has a 26.6 place average finish. He has 4 finishes out 30th or worse this year, 3 finishes outside the top 30, and 3 DNFs so far. His best finish so far is an 11th place at Phoenix International Speedway. This season Aric Almirola is having is similar to the year of Bobby Labonte in 2005. If a lot of you don't forget, Bobby Labonte in 2005 absolutely struggled. That season was absolutely embarrassing for them. This is also very interesting off of the other drivers as well. Chase Briscoe, Cole Custer, and Aric Almirola are closer in the points to Josh Bilicki than they are to the playoff cutoff that is held by Alex Bowman right now. And there's some other things to note. Stewart-Haas Racing's long-term future. Kevin Harvick's contract ends at the year 2023. I thought I went through 2024, but his contract ends at the end of 2023. And Aric Almirola's contract ends at the end of this year, and he only had 25 races midfield, which is a downgrade, which is going to come into play. So we have to also talk about the long-term future as well for those, because Aric Almirola could be out of the team, and Kevin Harvick probably isn't going to be racing that much longer, though we don't know how much longer Kevin Harvick is going to race. Let's now jump down to the Xfinity Series, because things are not looking great for them either so far. Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst is driving the number 98 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He currently sits 12th in the points. He only has 1 top 5, 1 top 10 this year, and has a 21st place average finish and has only led 12 laps. And similar to Kevin Harvick, Riley Herbst has only led those 12 laps so far at Daytona International Speedway, and he also DNF'd in that race. I will give Riley Herbst a little bit of benefit of doubt. He has had a lot of bad luck this year, but I did expect him to have a lot more speed at a lot of tracks here. And even in some of those races where he's had bad luck and things haven't gone his way, he's not even been running in the top 10 at points this year. And compared to last year where that car, the 98 team, who also had Richard Boswell as well, that team won 9 races in 2020 with Chase Briscoe. And this year so far, they have not shown that same speed. And I'm really concerned because Riley Herbst could one day move up to the Cup Series because he does have sponsorship. But I wish a guy like Ryan Preece or someone else could have taken that ride, because I feel like a driver like that could do a lot more in that car and could contend more. But Riley Herbst has absolutely not been impressing me in his whole career. He's been in NASCAR since 2017, at least in the ARCA Series, and he's only won 1 or 2 races so far. So he's absolutely struggled so far, and I think he'll turn around at least in the Xfinity Series. And I think he's going to get a win or 2 this year, but he's absolutely been down in the dumps. And then you have to go as far back to the Truck Series, where I think Stewart-Haas Racing's future isn't really 100% Riley Herbst. I think they're looking at Hailie Deegan. Now, Hailie Deegan was the first female winner, I think, in the K&N, which was K&N Series time, now the ARCA West Series. She scored 3 or 4 wins in the ARCA West Series. Then she went to ARCA for DGR, switch over to switch over to Ford. And her time in ARCA wasn't very impressive, but it is no surprise there. She had 1 start in Truck Series in 2020. Actually ran pretty well and ended up finishing in 16th place. Did pretty impressive there. She didn't get a speeding penalty, but she finished 16th, which isn't overall that bad. But in her time in the Truck Series so far, again, you can't really have expectations for her because she only had 5 starts. Well, she's 6 starts, but 5 starts this year in 2021. Hailie Deegan only has 0 top 5s, 0 top 10s, and a 24th place average finish. Keep this in mind. The only race I expected her to maybe do something was Bristol Dirt. She ran outside of top 15 all day and finished 19th. That's not really impressive, and that does not make her future for Stewart-Haas Racing and make the future of Stewart-Haas Racing look very well. And like I mentioned, Kevin Harvick and Aric Almirola, those guys are the 2 veterans of the sport. And let's go to backstory because Stewart-Haas Racing, they're in a similar situation to 2018 with Hendrick Motorsports. In 2018, you had Jimmy Johnson, but you had Chase Elliott, William Byron, Alex Bowman, who were rookies and young upcoming stars. Not like now. Those guys had a lot of talent, don't get me wrong. But you had 1 veteran driver and 3 kind of young and still somewhat inexperienced drivers. Chase Elliott being his 3rd year, Alex Bowman being his 2nd or 3rd year in the Cup Series, first time with Hendrick Motorsports, and William Byron, who was a rookie. That team absolutely struggled. And I think Stewart-Haas Racing is a very similar situation right now. It seems like Stewart-Haas Racing and Hendrick Motorsports is split off, because also remember, in 2018 for Stewart-Haas Racing that year, they also won a Nature's Bakery lawsuit and won $30 million. Well, I think that went into the team's salary and stuff. That also went back into cars. And Stewart-Haas Racing 2018, they also had a lot of veteran experience on their race team as well. You had Kevin Harvick, who won 8 races that year, 2 of them being encumbered, but he still won 8 races that year. Clint Boyer, who won 2 races. Kurt Busch, who won a race at Bristol. And Aric Almirola, who won a race at Talladega. That's very important. Eric Almirola was the 4th best driver at Stewart-Haas Racing, which isn't a bad thing because they all ended up making it to the round of 8 that year, and that team was dynamic. Things started kind of going apart around 2019 for Stewart-Haas Racing when they switched to the Mustang. Kevin Harvick won 3 races. That's really all. I think 3 or 4 races that year. That's all they really did that year. Then in 2020, they took major steps forward, but Kevin Harvick won 8 races. But I think Rodney Childers and Kevin Harvick really gelled that year, and also Cole Custer won a race. But this year so far, they absolutely struggle. And the future looks really, really bleak. Now, Eric Almirola, like I mentioned, is in a contract year, and I think there is a chance that Eric Almirola goes away. Now, you have to look at some of the lower series stuff because Ford's development program, it doesn't look very, very promising for Stewart-Haas Racing so far. It does not very look promising for the long-term future. And if things don't get turned around really, really soon, and they don't get a good enough driver, well, someone that can maybe turn things around, if they don't get a driver that's good enough very, very soon to fix the issues that are going on at Stewart-Haas Racing, I have a really bad feeling that Stewart-Haas Racing, they're going to go into the wrong direction, and that team is going to be screwed long term. They're going to go in the area where RCR is, which isn't terrible, but they're not be great. Kevin Harvick is carrying this team right now. I think combined, since Kevin Harvick joined the team, I think the other drivers have won like 14 or 15 races. Kevin Harvick's won 34, 35 races in his time with Stewart-Haas teams. Even though Kevin Harvick's still having a down year so far, he's basically carrying the team. Now, like I said, I do expect this team to improve a little bit in 2020. I expect Eric Almirola to go higher up in the points, and I also expect Chase Briscoe and Cole Custer maybe improve as well. But one thing you got to hope for is Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe. You got to hope that both those drivers end up improving long-term. Because if they don't improve long-term and they struggle, Chase Briscoe, like I said, is a rookie, and Cole Custer, he's a sophomore, so you got to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt. But if they don't improve and they don't become the stars that they could end up becoming, like Hendrick Motorsports seems like they're kind of having going on right now, I think that SHR long-term is going to be screwed. Now, free agency is coming up right now, and Eric Almirola, like I said, is a free agent. I think there's a chance Eric could come back this year, but if Eric Almirola leaves, there's only a few drivers that could end up replacing him. Maybe Ricky Stenhouse Jr. comes into that play. I know there's been potential that he could leave that team at the end of this year. I mean, his contract ends at the end of the end of this year. He's a free agent at the end of the year. There's a chance he could come over. He's been doing pretty well with JC Doherty. I don't know if he's going to want to leave that team. I think he has a chance to sign him. You also still have Brad Keselowski and Alex Bowman, but let's be for real. It's been reported that Brad Keselowski is probably going to end up returning to Team Penske. Why would you leave? You've been doing so good with that team. Why would you leave that team and go over to Stewart-Haas Racing? He's absolutely been struggling. I know that would be good for veteran experience, but I think that would not overall be a better move for that team, and that could hurt Team Penske overall. I think the reason that he's going to end up staying Keselowski with Team Penske is because of Austin or going to Wood Brothers. And then you have Alex Bowman, who also could end up leaving this year. I very, very confident to say this, that I expect Alex Bowman to return to Team Hendrick. He's been doing much better as the season has gone on. I know that this year started off a little bit bleak for him, but I think as the year goes on, I think Alex Bowman is going to continue to improve at Hendrick Motorsports. So like I said, the last driver I think is Matt Benedetto, who I think has a good shot at going there, but he's very unproven. It hasn't done a lot so far in the Cup Series. I think he's a very talented driver, but last year, Matt Benedetto really hasn't impressed me too much in his time in the Cup Series so far. I know he's had some really strong runs. I think, like I said, he's a very, very talented driver. But his time with Woodburners, I'll get it. The pandemic really hurt him overall. And he's had a few good performances this year. But he's overall not a very proven driver. And we know that he's a free agent this year. If he can turn to performances around Eric Almirola leaves, I think that he could take that ride. But there's also potential he could go over to Chip Ganassi Racing next year if Kurt Busch retires, or to Roush Fenway Racing if Ryan Newman retires. That's absolutely possible right now. So I don't know what the future for Stewart-Haas Racing brings, but if I'm a fan of SHR right now, I'd be a little bit concerned for your team right now, and I hope that you guys can find somebody, and I hope that they can find someone that can take this ride and fix the issues going on at Stewart-Haas Racing, because, man, I'll tell you what, Stewart-Haas Racing, their future is not looking promising. That's what I'll say right there, and I hope that things can turn around, but I'm really concerned about Stewart-Haas Racing's long-term future. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's new video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my page as well. Links description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about Stewart-Haas Racing struggle to start off in the 2021 season? Do you think that Stewart-Haas Racing is going to improve in 2021, or do you think these struggles are going to continue through the rest of the season? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like, so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.